Welcome to Inner Peace, Better Health. I'm your host, Eric, and today we are diving into the incredible journey of resilience, innovation, and purpose. Joining me is Idan Shpizear, the founder and CEO of 911 Restoration, a nationally recognized franchise known for turning disasters into flash starts. Idan's story is more than a business success, it's a masterclass in scaling with heart and intention. From an 800 dollar Volvo to a nationwide empire. His journey is a perfect blend of grit and growth. Idan, you're welcome to the show. Let's unpack your journey and uncover how purpose can transform business and lives alike.
Perfect. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Idan, your journey from carpet cleaning to building a franchise empire is incredible. What motivated you to take this bold step?
So the main reason, the reason that I got going is because I didn't have a choice. I needed to make money, right? I came here to the United States with no money. I had no options to go back and get money from anywhere else or anybody else from the family. So I just needed to make it happen. So I started because I just needed to make things happen, right? So that's really was the first driver as I got into the business. But that driver pretty fast changed into how can I add more value? I see what people are going through. I see the disaster. I see the opportunity on the other side. And can I be somebody that really adding value to other people? So the driver really quick moved from I just have to make money into wow, I really have the opportunity to impact other people's lives and really add value.
Yeah, wow. So, looking back, what was the toughest moment and how did you push through?
Ooh, toughest moment. So look, it started with not really speaking the language, right? So when we moved here to the US, we didn't really speak English, so that was a challenge. Think
Wow.
about it. I'm going into people's houses and providing carpet cleaning services in the beginning, and then the restoration. The language was a barrier, so we need to find ways to get around it and really trying to explain ourselves and connect with people. So that was a first and a pretty big challenge. But over time, we learn the culture. We start picking up some of the words and the keywords that we can use to really connect and work with people. So that really was the biggest challenge in the beginning. After that is really, with no business experience, how do you go from having two employees or two people on our team to, 20 and then 50? And today we have close to 1,000 people overall in the system. So there is a lot of learning that need to happen, and there's a lot of different systems that we need to learn and adopt to be able to really scale the business. But really, the challenge is not so much of how to scale the business. It's more
Yeah.
of the inner work, right? Can I believe that I can work and I can make it happen? Can I evolve as a person and gain new perspective? Can I start hiring and building a strong team, right? Because we go and we are dealing with our own limitation many times, right? We want to go after something, but part of us don't believe that we can get it or we can make it happen. So we kept hitting a certain ceiling in our ability to grow and income and connect with other people. So breaking through these ceilings, it's really a lot of inner work that I discover on my journey that's where I need to put most of my effort is really seeing that I am evolving as a person.
Mm. It's fascinating how resilience often comes from the hardest of challenges. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So scaling a business while maintaining a strong purpose is no small feat. So how do you balance profitability with values like your fresh start philosophy?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
So first of all, I think one of the things that I learned is when you build a culture when you have a vision and a mission, right? And then it's very heart centered, right? We want to be the fresh start for other people. We want to build a fresh start team. So the first thing is you need to embody it, right? I
Yeah.
cannot just say it and then do something else. So once you get the alignment that your mission and vision is really aligned with who you are and what you want to do and what you want to build, then it's easier because it's just really a part of you, is a life in you all the time. And you're keeping this inner fire, inner kind of North Star always on, right? So once you really embody it and you look at things through these eyes, it's much easier to balance the business and making decision from that intention, right? So if my intention is to really build a fresh start team, if to really be there as the fresh start agent when my clients going through emotional disaster, and also be there for my franchisees, that become a big part of the business plan. That become a big part of how we build our processes, because customer experience, right, how people feel and operate and connect to the brand, become the center of who we are as a company. So now everything else just follow that approach, right? So we're just seeing it through those eyes. So it's easier to navigate profit or sales because that now is the center of what we do. Make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Wow. So, have you ever faced a situation where the two seemed at odds, and how did you handle it? I mean, like, did you get my question?
No.
Have you ever faced a situation where where you are not able to balance things, or two seem at odds, like something is at the extreme and you don't know what to do, you don't know how to handle things. So,
Yeah.
like, what approach did you take in that situation?
So it's when we feel that we are not sure what we should do, right? When a situation come up and we are like, okay, do we are really emphasizing profit? Do we emphasize the culture? What's really important to us, right? So when we feel that it's hard for us to make that decision, we know that we need to go back to the basics, right? We need to sit with the team, really talk about what is important to us, and make sure that there is alignment in the business, right? So we'll have, for example, we have somebody that worked for the company that doing amazing, closing a lot of sales, doing great, but is really hurting the culture, right? Is not really shining the fresh start attitude, right? So if we see somebody create kind of hurting the culture, we go back and we says, okay, what's really important to us, right? What is it that we really
Yeah.
stand for as a company? What is the North Star? And when you go back to basic, when you go back into alignment, then it's easy to make decision, because then we'll say, okay, we see that he's a great person because he's generating a lot of income, but he's hurting the rest of the team. And we stand for the fresh start. So that's not going to work with our culture, right? So that's one way to look at it. So we end the relationship with that person, and then we're going back to, let's find people that are a good fit for our culture, because this is very, very important to us. We see it as the long-term thinking. How can we really build the organization that we want to? Or sometime we'll have an issue with a client, and the client will say, like, I don't think I want to pay, or is not going to pay, and there's back and forth between the franchisee and the client, or between us and the client. We will always choose the high road, right? We always take in consideration, okay, we still want to stand for as the fresh start company, so let's see how can we work it out so it will be a
Yeah.
win-win situation, because that's what we want to represent in people's life.
Yeah, yeah, you are right. The balance is so relatable for anyone who is striving to do meaningful work. It's
Yeah.
really,
It's more of a long. So see, I'm not always, but I learn over time that it's very important to have financial success and fulfillment. Right? Fulfillment, I mean that you
yeah,
feel like you're doing something that you're supposed to do. You're doing something that is, you're adding value. When you go to sleep at night, you feel good, not just because you made money, you feel good because you built a great team. You did something good. You helped a client. right? Because the last thing that we want to happen in our life is, we're getting to the top of the mountain, the financial mountain that we always dreamed about. But then when we get to the top and we got the financial benefits, and we're going to stand there and says, you know what, something is still feel empty in me. I don't know, but I still, something is missing. Most of the time, what is missing, because it's you're not doing meaningful work. You're just thinking about your finance. You're not thinking about your kind of your spiritual connection, the connection to yourself, the connection to the community, right? We're being blind of other areas in our life that are very, very important.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking at both of them together. And that's my hope also for my team and my franchisees. And that's something that I talk to them a lot about, is we need to look at both of them. You need to have fulfillment, because that's really what matters, right? We
Yeah.
want to feel like we did something well for other people. If you really think about it, if you kind of look back at the past 20 years, or if you fast forward to when you're 80 years old, think about what is the thing that will be very, very important to you, right? And start integrating them in your life today. And that was part of my process, right? I had some win, I had some loss. I started understanding of, okay, what's really happening here? What's really something that will make me feel like, okay, I'm feeling fulfilled. I'm feeling fulfilled not because the result that I'm getting, but because what I do every day. I'm showing up in a certain way. I'm adding value. I'm connecting with people. See, that is a beautiful thing. So I think it's very important to connect both of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you have built other ventures like Milestone SEO. So what drives your passion for innovation?
It's a good question. I think it's just I think it's just something that is innate. Each one of us has some things that are just innate, right? If you even look at yourself, there's some part of you that you didn't work for. You just that's the way you think. Maybe you're very creative, maybe your ability to look deeper into things, maybe your ability to communicate to people. Everybody has some innate things. So I think the innovation, always looking at what's new, how can I find a different way? When everybody's trying to go through the main door, can I go through the side door? Can I find different ways to connect with our client?
Yeah.
So I really think it's just something that's just comes to me. I just see things in a certain way, like everybody have their own innate abilities, but I really love to look at business through the eyes of innovation and collaboration.
Yeah.
Right, so that's the two things. So when 2003, when nobody really in the home service industry looked at online lead generation, I saw it as an opportunity. I heard two people talking about it, about the ability to generate leads. And it was around, 2003. And I went back home that night and I'm like, okay, I need to figure it out. I need to find a way how this Google thing works. And I see it as the next thing that will give us as a business a huge push forward. Right. So I tried it, I played with it, I did it for some time, I tried different things, and it worked. Right. At the same time, there's many other things that I thought that would be good and I tried and end up not working. But I think innovation is something that, especially today, things change so fast, and the change is massive. Right. So not having the kind of the innovation spirit in the business is it's going to be very, very hard, especially with all the new technologies, the way we communicate change, the way people are buying is changing. So I think it's very, very important.
Yeah. So finally, if someone is listening to us, I mean, a lot of people are listening to us, but if someone who is on the verge of giving up on their business, what would you say to them?
Giving up?
Yeah, like if someone is on the verge of giving up their business, what would you say to them? Like, what's that one piece of advice that helped you keep going when things seemed impossible?
Yeah. So first of all, I would go back and ask myself, why I'm in this business, right? Because I know people that just go into business just because it's a trend and it sounds good and they're just chasing the next shiny object. So sometimes if this is the reason that you're in the business and you're just chasing it because it's a shining object, I think it makes sense for you to stop for a second and see, okay, why I'm really doing this business. I'm really committed to this business. Now, if the answer is yes, I'm committed to the business and this is something that I want to do and it's really, part of who I am, then just keep moving forward, right? There is many times at the moment that you feel like I'm about to give up, right? Like the hardest moment, it's really more a moment for us to learn, right? Because it's a reflection of something that we're not seeing in ourselves, right? So when you're standing there and says, you know what, I'm trying something again and again. I want to do it. I'm very passionate about it. That's where I'm really using my skills, but I'm really hitting the wall. It's most of the time is there is a lesson there, right? So I will stop for a second and say, okay, what can I learn from it? What is it that I'm not seeing? I'm not listening to my clients. I'm not open enough to look at the way I'm advertising the business. Maybe I need to go back and improve my product, right? But look at it as a learning opportunity and then see how you can innovate or adjust or adapt or maybe learn a new skills or maybe you need to bring somebody else to help you build the business. But I would not stop, right? Because I will look at it more for a growth opportunity. I had many moments in my business when I got to this point and it ended up being the best learning opportunity that I ever had in my life, right? Sometime, we're hitting walls so we can see what is it in us that we're not seeing and we're not understanding. But once we learn that, now we'll jump to the second level of building this business.
Mm.
Right? So kind of expect it to happen in a certain way. Understand, okay, some difficult times will come because it's giving me the opportunity to adjust and grow and see the business, see the landscape now from a new perspective. And that's how I can really scale up the business. But you have to evolve yourself as a person, right? You cannot do the same thing that you did when you started a business. So it's this different behavior when you're just starting to the point that you have 5 or 10 people on your team, and then 30 people, and then 100 people. There's different skills, there's different perspective. So you need to be able to adjust and evolve and really understand, okay, this is where I can shift. This is the opportunity for me. Because even if these businesses end up failing, all the learning that you will have, that each one of us have because of this difficult time, now you can take it and apply it to a different business that you're building. Right. So I wouldn't get stuck. So for me, it's not so much the business. Of course, it's very important, but a lot of it is we need to evolve. We need to adopt new skills, new perspective, new way of behaving so we can keep growing and scaling. Make sense?
Yeah, it does, of course, of course. I'm learning so much in this conversation because, like you mentioned, that so many people start a business because they just think that it's a good trend. They see so many social media trends and they see so many successful people who just started a business and out of nowhere overnight they became successful. But I believe so many people don't see the effort that was put into it, and that's what I believe, and that's why I don't believe in whatever is shown to us on social media because I believe that social media gives us a very cropped image, a very trimmed sort of an image, and yeah, so it's really important to see the full picture rather than actually not seeing and just giving up on the thing. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's really amazing. It's really amazing to me how this conversation was, and it was so inspiring because how you mentioned that there should be commitment in the business. Um, I really don't think like I've been recently struggling a lot with my business when I just had a lot of clients and out of nowhere I just I just don't have any, and I'm not able to give time to my business, and I really think that this conversation was a wake up call for me because I believe that I'm not committed to it. So when you're committed to something, you also have to give them time intentionally.
Oh
So
yeah. Listen, yeah, I agree. Building a
yeah.
business is not easy.
Yeah.
There's need to be work, there's to be dedication. You need to nurture it. You need to nurture yourself. You need to be really involved. But I think is overall in life, whatever you do, right? When we put ourselves into doing something, you see there's a big difference from the people that really completely evolve themselves with whatever in front of them and the result that they get and the learning that they get compared to other people that not really doing it, not really putting all the effort in, and then people are surprised why it's not working for me because you're not putting the work in.
Yeah. 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 And what was taught to me in school is was that you are a separate entity and your business is separate entity. However, after this conversation, I think that in order to make your business grow, I think you have to become one with the business. I know it's a very radical statement, but I think that's how it should be.
Yeah, think about it that everything that you do, it's an expression of who you are, right? For example, even if you sit in your own room right now and you look around you, everything around you is your choices. You choose to have these things around you. We make choices all the time. And the choices that we make is a reflection of who we think we are, right? So it's based on your standards, based on your belief system, based on your knowing. That's how I see myself, and that's why I make the choices that I make. And everything around me is a reflection, it's expression of who I am. So now look at your business as an expression of who you are, right? So it's when you walk into somebody's business and you see that everything is a big mess and he's not doing good and his team is leaving him and customers are complaining, you kind of see it as a reflection as the person that started the business, the person that managed the business, because this is his expression. He chose not to give effort. He chose not to really put a lot of emphasis with his client. He chose not to put the right people in front of around him or help and develop his team, right? He's making certain choices, and that's the reflection that he sees. So if you look at the business, if you look at everything around you, it says, okay, that's my expression. This is choices that I made and I'm not happy with it. You know what? I can have better things around me. I can do things better. Then you start changing the way you look at things, and slowly, you're going to make different choices, and your environment is going to change and your business is going to change. Right? So you are the center of everything around you. So if you want things to get better, instead of saying that's not is working because of marketing or because of the government or because where I live or because of my environment, whatever it is, you start looking at yourself as a victim. So instead of doing it, start seeing it as, okay, all of it is my expression. I make choices all the time. I'm going to start paying attention and bring more awareness to my choices. And this is how I'm going to start elevating my life. So now if I'm committed and I really want to build this business because I believe that I can add value to other people that way,
Yeah.
now you start to pay attention to the choices that you make, the people that you put around you, the words that you're using, the marketing that you're using, the way that you are interacting with your clients. Everything become very important and is important choices that will come from your own alignment. So that's why I think if you look at everything as your expression, now you can see a reflection and you can have better understanding to into your own perspective, into your own way of looking at life. And that will help us to go into better alignment. So we make better choices.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Idan, for sharing your incredible insights and inspiring us to turn grit into growth. To all our listeners, remember your journey is yours to design. Take what you have learned today and start building a life and a business that aligns with your purpose. If this episode resonated with you, share it, subscribe, and leave a review. Until next time, keep striving, stay mindful, and take bold steps toward your better tomorrow.